All right. So let's wrap up today's show with our NFL predictions as far as our playoff teams or who we think is going to win divisions, and we'll go around and hear what everybody has to say. Um, Mason, I'm going to start with you. In the AFC, who do you think's winning? Give me your four division winners if you had to give them.
I'm going to start with the easy one. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens. I hate to say it, but I think those are the two easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be shocked if anybody else on here picked anybody else in those two divisions. Um, the other two I think are very interesting. I personally, I'm not a Bills person. I see that their win totals are supposed to be pretty high according to Vegas, but I'm the type of guy that I'm not going to bet against the Patriots until I see somebody that can beat them. So I'm still picking the Patriots to win that division. Um, the AFC South, I think, could be a coin flip because I think there are three teams. But me personally, I'm going to take the Texans. I think this is one of those years that everyone's been trying to beat them up and beat them up. But bottom line is, they still have the best quarterback in that division. I think they have the best defense in that division. So I'm going to take the Texans. And while we're at it, I think I really do think that two wild card teams are going to come out of the North. I believe Pittsburgh and Cleveland are both going to make the playoffs this year. Um, so that's my picks for the AFC.
All right. Dan, how about AFC? What you got?
I'm similar with Mason with the first two, obviously Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore.
Yep.
I think the Bills have honestly an outside shot at the 2 seed for me. I think the Texans, about 5 minutes. Is that okay with you? I think the Texans will be the winner in the South. I think the Titans and the Colts both get a wild card, and then I think the winner of the Jets Browns game is the third.
All right. Derek, what you got?
I got the Bills winning the East. I like some additions they have. Obviously, Vegas is seeing those numbers too. Ravens winning the North, unfortunately. I just think they're solid. I believe that Indianapolis is going to win the South, and then obviously Kansas City winning the West. I too think that the Browns and Steelers are going to make it in the wild card along with the Titans.
Okay. All right. Of course, I got the Chiefs and the Ravens. Those are easy. I got the Bills just because I just think the rest of the division is. I think the rest of that division is garbage. And then I've got in the South. I've got the Titans though. I think you win, and I think they've got a really good coach, and I think they know how to win, and I just think they're going to pull it off. Wild card. I got the Colts, and I got the Browns or the Steelers. Just depends on which one can make the magic happen. But that's what I've got for my AFC. NFC, Derek, I'm going to start with you. What you got?
In the East, I got the Eagles winning the East. Vikings winning the North. Saints, a close one over the Bucks. I was almost picking the Buccaneers. I don't know. I know people think that's crazy or whatever, but I think this is going to be a year for the Saints to remember. And then 49ers winning the West. I have the Bucks going in the wild card, and then Cowboys and the Seahawks in the wild card also.
Okay. All right. Danny, up.
Good. Nope, I'm good.
You muted
I'm
me.
good.
All right, go ahead. Who you got in NFC?
I have Eagles. I think that's the easiest division to pick. I think is the East. I have the Eagles. I have the Vikings. Am I frozen?
No,
Sorry.
you're good.
Yeah, the Eagles. I have the Vikings. I have the Saints, and I have the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks winning the West. I have the Niners as the wild card. I have the Bucks as a wild card, and then I have the Bears.
So
Okay.
let me ask Danny up there, what changed between this week and last week when you said you had Tampa Bay winning the division and being the number 2 seed overall?
I thought about it.
Oh, Okay.
That always helps.
I
Yeah.
thought, about,
Always
I
helps.
thought about it, and I thought that was a dumb comment. Every now and then, you're allowed to say it's okay. Like, that's the problem in America. You can never say, "Hey, I made a mistake." Everybody gets ripped for it. I made a
You're
mistake.
saying that a lot.
Wow. Wow. All right, Mace, what you got?
Well, of course, I have to disagree with Dan on his very first comment, saying that the Eagles is the easiest pick because coming off their 9-7 season, I don't know how they improved it at all.
Dude,
So
they were throwing to Derek Philo.
and now they're throwing to who?
Wow.
What's that?
And now they're throwing to who?
Not Derek Philo.
I think they wish they had Derek Philo. I'm picking the Cowboys in the East. I think that's going to be one of those divisions where the winner of that division is going to be 9-7. I don't think it's very good, but I'm picking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Vikings in the North.
Welcome to the smartest debate on television.
Whoop, sorry.
No. Hey, I got to get out of here, guys. Peace
All
out.
right, man.
I'll see
You're
you later.
good.
Taking the Vikings. I'm taking the Saints, and I'm also taking the Seahawks. I think that Super Bowl hangover for the 49ers might be real. Plus, I think they lost some key guys. But I am going to take the Buccaneers, the 49ers, and the Packers as my 3 wild card teams.
Yeah, I can't. Okay, I'm looking at my list, and it's going to sound pretty similar. Now, except in the East, I've got the Cowboys, I got the Seahawks in the West, Vikings in the North, the Saints in the South, and then I've got the 49ers, Buccaneers, and Packers for my wild card teams. I don't know. I think it's going to be – the NFC is going to be fun. It's always fun playoff time, but I think it's going to be really interesting just to see record-wise where people match up and who they're going to have to face in the playoffs. After it's all said and done, Mason, who do you have in the Super Bowl? Who do you think's going to go in the Super Bowl, AFC and NFC?
I'm going to say Saints, and I'm going to say it's hard to pick against the Chiefs.
That's what I got.
That's what I would say.
Exactly what I got.
I think that whole Drew Brees last year,
yeah.
the sunset type thing, it's going to be tough to pick against him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close second with Seattle because I think Seattle's pretty darn good. I think they're well coached, but if I had to pick the two, those would be the two.
It's
always funny, every year there's a team that rises up, that jumps in there, and I'd be curious to see if we, between the three of us, what team is it do you think that has a chance to make a splash in both the AFC and the NFC? Maybe a team that we didn't mention for a playoff run.
Who do you have, Mason? Who do you have in mind?
I'm going to throw out the Packers. I know that we said they're a wild card team, but I like those teams that have a little bit of piss and vinegar. And Aaron Rodgers is just another one of those guys that I don't like betting against. And I think he's one of those guys that could basically say, hey, you know what? Don't forget about me type thing. So that they would be the team in the NFC that I think. And I know everybody is the Broncos is a team that I think I'd be very curious to see how they play in the AFC because Drew Lock, they're putting a lot on him, but he's got a lot around him right now. A good running back, good receivers, and I think that defense underachieved last year. So I think they have a chance to kind of pop up there and maybe win 9 or 10 games and surprise a lot of people.
Derek, anybody you can think of surprise-wise?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I've just been kind of looking around different sites and whatnot, and there's some talk about the Chargers. So I'm anxious to see if they can do anything and make any noise this year. But I like about the idea about the Packers as well. I didn't have them on my list of even wild card, but man, it's hard to go against Rodgers, and especially when people are hating on him. So those would be my two.
Yeah, I had the Pack being pretty good to begin with, but I don't know. It's really tough. I think just looking at my list, NFC, I think it's really tough.
There's a lot of haves and have-nots.
There are, and I guess somebody that could surprise. you know, the Cardinals are getting love, but when you're in that division, I just don't know how you're gonna get a lot of wins.
Yeah.
So maybe the Rams can somehow find some magic again, even though I don't have a lot of faith in Jared Goff. I think to me that's their downfall, and I just don't know with him, but maybe they can find some way to pull off some magic. And my other team, I like Derek talking about the Chargers, but in the same division, I look at the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders can finally put something together and win some games. I don't know. They could be a surprise team that, you know, we look midway through the year and go, oh yeah, they're winning some games. I don't know. But those would be my two.
The one last one that I keep thinking about is, and I kind of say this in the same vein as Aaron Rodgers, but I really like Matthew Stafford. You know, and now I think they're going to have a legit running game, and I think they're going to try to do some things different. But I think he's got a little FU in him, and I think you know, he hasn't proven much, but I think he has a whole bunch of talent, and if they have the right system for him, I think they have a chance to beat.
And it's kind of put up or shut up time for
Right.
Matt Patricia and that crew. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you know, sometimes, you know, you get held to the fire, and I agree. I think Matthew Stafford is one of those guys that he just gets overlooked. And I think a lot of it isn't necessarily his fault. It's just look at what he's had around him, or look at what's on the other side of the football. You know, that, you know, he's had to, you know, hey, I got to chuck the ball 40 times a game because we're giving up points. So yeah, he's another one that absolutely could come through in the end. I just hope we get to see football. That's my main thing, man. I just want to see some football, and I'd love to see it start on time. I know they have contingency plans and stuff, but I'd love to see it start on time.
Yeah.
So, all right, fellas, I appreciate it. I'm going to stop this one and see where we can go. Hold on for me for a minute.